This is Kevin Benedict, Enterprise Mobility Analyst and SAP Mentor, reporting live from SAP Insiders Conference here in Las Vegas, Mobile 2012. And I have with me as guest the CEO of Smartsoft, Dan Homrich. Dan, how are you?
Great, Kevin. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Now I need two microphones, don't I? I'm trying to get sophisticated, but it's just not working. So Dan, Dan, we've talked a lot over the years about enterprise mobility. So what are you seeing in 2012 that perhaps, or seeing or hearing that's different from in past years?
First of all, our volume of deals, activity, how many weeks are we into the year? 7 weeks, is phenomenal. We closed a lot of business in Q4, and we're continuing that trend right now. What I'm seeing behind that is people understanding they need to get moving in mobility for a variety of reasons. Competitive pressure, someone inside the office is asking for it. But we see people getting out of the analysis phase and moving into project implementations. I'll also say we are still, though, doing a fair amount of education with people because there's still a lot of noise in the system. It still reminds me of the early days of database SQL wars and web server wars and things of that nature. So it's still doing a lot of education, but business has certainly picked up dramatically.
So, Dan, what kind of trends are you seeing beyond just, more opportunities? Are you seeing people asking for different kinds of applications or drilling deeper? What are you just seeing out there in that area?
We see the number one area that comes to mind is almost anything customer facing. So whether that's a B2C application for organizations that have been laggards in getting a rich native app available to their consumers, to their loyal customers. We see a lot of activity there. Much more activity in sales organizations. So including SAP, we've done work with SAP. So organizations that are focused on helping their salespeople, sales support, communicate better with their end customers.
Now, because of last year's interviews and the year before, the interviews that we've done, I know that you have some retail clients that are huge, some of the biggest retailers out there. Are they asking for more sophisticated applications now than they did a couple years ago?
Interesting. That's a great question, Kevin. They're not necessarily more sophisticated apps in terms of the capabilities that we offer on devices. They are wanting to leverage every native capability of the device, right? So certainly that's the standard, GPS capability, camera, but we're seeing them become more and more savvy about implementing things such as barcode scanning, reading via the optics, right, inside of there. We see much more emphasis on social networking and loyalty programs and integrating that, and then ultimately that's leading towards very targeted marketing to a particular user on a device. So we see a lot of effort and energy around that. Those organizations that have the core capabilities update it. Those that don't are rapidly trying to get there.
Now, since you've done so many of these things, there must be a few lessons you've learned over the years. Why don't you share some of the big ones with our audience today?
Wow. First and foremost, it's an elephant, so you got to eat it one bite at a time. Number two, look back to history to find the great prognosticator. There's a lot of, like I said, a lot of noise in the system still, even today, with all types of vendors vying for your attention and saying they've got the right platform or capability or service mix or model. It really requires a great deal of analysis, and the single most important thing is think about the longevity of this. This stuff is here to stay, and your articles are spot on. When we look into the ecosystem, we don't see 1 million devices or 10 million. We see hundreds of millions, because when we tie in M to M into this capability, right, then all of a sudden you've got such a wide range of devices you're going to be communicating with, and we urge companies to think 5 years down the road. They don't have to necessarily act on 5 years, but they need to start thinking about the core decisions they're making today and how they're going to be able to be well positioned for the future. And I think that one simple way of saying that, if you knew everything you knew now, would you have architected anything but, for example, a services-oriented architecture, right? So use the hindsight, lessons learned, take the time to put the right architecture, right infrastructure in place.
So Dan, what kind of areas do you guys focus on? So if companies are looking for support and help and assistance and consulting around enterprise mobility, what areas are you guys really targeting?
I'm playing my Kevin Benedict card on that one, and I'm going to say that I'm sort of a jack of all, or we're a jack of all trades, and I'll be more specific in a moment. But in the world of mobility, what you really need in a partner, a solution provider, is someone who's an absolute expert in mobility. The domain knowledge for the back ends, actually that's easier to acquire than the mobility knowledge. Go try to recruit someone who understands manufacturing. Go try to recruit someone who's done a large-scale enterprise-grade mobile application, right? Big difference. So those are factors we bring to the table. So we've actually been very diverse. We've done retail, manufacturing, high-tech, commercial aerospace, probably 2 or more in the medical industry. So it's been broad, and that's because what we learn in the different industries, we contribute to the other industries, and it adds great value. Having said that, we've finished our 4th or 5th SUP project recently, and we've really got a strong capability in SUP. And of course our SAP capabilities that are combined with that. So that's a very strong area for growth for us right now.
Dan, I want to thank you for taking a few minutes out right before your own session that you're going to be teaching to share with the audience today.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.